Captain Hannah Choi pulled her cargo freighter into Docking Bay 7. The station workers barely looked at her ship. To them, she was just another human doing the dirty work nobody else wanted. She hauled trash and broken equipment between space stations. It was not a good job, but it was a job. Hannah climbed out of her ship and stretched. Her back hurt from sitting for 16 hours. Around her, aliens walked past. Some were tall reptiles with scales that clicked when they moved. Others looked like giant insects with too many arms. A few were just clouds of gas floating in special suits. They all ignored her. She was used to it. Humans were new to the galaxy. Most aliens thought humans were weak and useless. Too soft, too slow, too short-lived. Hannah had heard it all before. She went to collect her payment from the station manager. He was a Kravik, one of the big reptile species. He looked down at her with his yellow eyes. "Another load of waste removed," he said, transferring credits to her account. "Try not to break anything next time." Hannah said nothing. She just took her money and left. On her way back to the ship, she heard crying. It was coming from behind a stack of cargo containers. Hannah stopped. She looked around. Nobody else seemed to notice or care. She walked toward the sound. Behind the containers, she found 4 human children huddled together. They were dirty and scared. The oldest looked maybe 10 years old. The youngest was probably 6. "Hey," Hannah said softly. She knelt down to their level. "What are you doing here?" The oldest boy looked at her with wide eyes. "Are you human?" He asked. Double quotes, "Yes. My name is Hannah. What are your names?" "I am Jinwoo," the boy said. "This is Minho, Yuna, and Sora." He pointed to each child as he said their names. "Where are your parents?" Hannah asked. Jinwoo's face went dark. "Dead. Pirates attacked our transport ship 3 weeks ago. We hid in an escape pod. It brought us here. But nobody will help us. They say humans are not their problem." Hannah felt anger rise in her chest. She looked at the 4 children. They were thin. Their clothes were torn. Yuna, the smallest girl, was shaking. "Come with me," Hannah said. She stood up and held out her hand. "Where?" Jinwoo asked. He did not trust easily. "My ship. You need food and rest." The children looked at each other. They had no other choice. Slowly, they followed her. When they reached the Morning Star, Hannah's ship, she helped them inside. The children looked around with wonder. It was not a big ship, but it was clean and warm. "Sit," Hannah said, pointing to the galley table. She heated up ration packs and gave them water. The children ate like they had not seen food in days. They probably had not. While they ate, Hannah made a decision. She could not leave them here. The station authorities did not care about human orphans. They would die on these cold metal corridors. "Listen," she said when they finished eating. "You can stay with me. I do not have much. This ship is small. The work is hard. But you will be safe." "Really?" Sora asked. She was about 7 years old with big eyes. "Really," Hannah said. "Why would you help us?" Jinwoo asked. He was suspicious, trying to protect the others. "Because someone should," Hannah said simply. "And because I am alone out here too. Maybe we can be alone together." That night, Hannah made sleeping spaces for the children in the cargo hold. It was the only place with room. She gave them blankets and turned up the heat. They fell asleep quickly, exhausted. The next morning, problems started. A Kravik security officer came to her ship. "You have human younglings aboard," he said. "This is not permitted. You are a single operator. You cannot care for offspring while working." "They have nowhere else to go," Hannah said. "Not my concern. Remove them or lose your docking privileges." Hannah felt her jaw tighten. But before she could argue, the station manager appeared. He was even bigger than the security officer. "Let it go," the manager said. "One human with 4 small humans is still less trouble than most species. If she wants to burden herself with extra mouths to feed, that is her mistake." The security officer left, looking annoyed. The manager looked at Hana. "Do not make me regret this," he said. Hana nodded. Over the next weeks, the children slowly came out of their shells. But they were terrified of the aliens on the stations. Whenever a Kravik walked by, they grabbed onto Hana. When a Thras insect alien clicked its mandibles, they hid behind her legs. When a Valen gas cloud floated near, they buried their faces in her jacket. Hana understood. The galaxy was big and strange and scary when you were small and alone. One day, a drunk Kravik worker pushed Minho aside in a corridor. The boy fell hard. Before Hana could react, the other 3 children rushed to help him up. But they were all crying and shaking. The Kravik laughed. "Weak little humans." That night, Hana sat with all 4 children in the galley. "I know you are scared," she said. "I know everything out here seems dangerous. But I promise you something. As long as you are with me, you are safe. Always, no matter what." Little Yuna looked up at her. "Promise?" "Promise," Hana said. The children nodded. They believed her. And Hana meant it with every part of her heart. She did not know then how much that promise would change everything. She did not know that these scared children hiding behind her legs would one day be the ones standing in front of her, keeping that same promise. But that would come later. For now, they were just a small family trying to survive in a galaxy that did not care about them. 8 years passed like water through fingers. The Morning Star was still the same small cargo ship, but everything else had changed. Jinwoo was now 18 years old. He stood in the engine room, his hands covered in grease, working on the hyperdrive. He had grown tall and strong. More importantly, he understood machines in a way that amazed even the Kravik engineers. "Hand me the torque wrench," he said to Minho without looking up. My Nho, now 16, knew exactly which tool his brother meant. He had become sharp and observant. He noticed patterns others missed. He could predict problems before they happened. When Hana flew through dangerous sectors, Minho sat beside her, watching the sensors, calling out threats before they appeared on screen. In the cargo hold, Yuna practiced her movements. At 14, she was small and fast. She moved through the tight spaces of the ship like water. Hana had taught her to fight because the galaxy was not safe. Yuna learned quickly. She could disarm a Kravik twice her size using speed and timing instead of strength. Sora, 15 years old, sat in the galley studying. She had books and tablets spread everywhere. She was learning every language she could find. Kravik, Thras, Violin, and 20 others. She said that words were weapons too. If you could talk to someone, you could find a way through. Hana watched them from the cockpit. Her hair had more gray now. Her face had more lines. But when she looked at her 4 cubs, she felt pride fill her chest. They did not hide behind her legs anymore. The Morning Star docked at Haven Station for resupply. It was a big station, full of shops and people from 100 worlds. The family walked through the corridors together. Aliens stared at them. 5 humans together was unusual. Most humans still worked alone, trying to prove themselves. A Thras merchant clicked at them angrily when Yuna accidentally bumped his stall. Before Hana could apologize, Sora stepped forward. "Apologies, honored merchant," Sora said in perfect Thras language. "My sister meant no disrespect. Perhaps we could purchase something to show our regret?" The Thras stopped clicking. He looked surprised. Few humans spoke his language. "You speak well, young human," he said. "Very well. Look at my goods." They bought some dried fruit and moved on. Hana smiled. Her cubs were learning to navigate this strange galaxy, but the galaxy had its own lessons to teach. 3 days later, pirates attacked Haven Station. The alarm sirens screamed through the corridors. People ran in every direction. Hannah gathered the 4 children. "Back to the ship," she ordered. Now, they ran through the chaos. Explosions shook the walls. Pirates in battle armor stomped through the station, stealing and destroying. Hannah had her old pistol out, ready to protect her family. They were almost to the docking bay when 3 pirates blocked their path. They were Kravik, big and armed with heavy weapons. "Look," one laughed. 5 humans. How much do you think we can sell them for?" Hannah raised her pistol. Her hand was steady. She would die before letting them take her cubs. But then Jinwoo stepped forward. He had a plasma torch from the engine room in his hand. Minho moved to the left, grabbing a metal pipe. Yuna rolled to the right, picking up a fallen stunner. Sora stayed behind Hana but held a cutting tool. The pirates looked confused. Human younglings did not fight back. Everyone knew humans were weak. "Last chance," Hana said. "Walk away." The pirates laughed and charged. What happened next surprised everyone, including Hana. Jinwoo threw the plasma torch at one pirate's weapon, making it overheat. The Kravik dropped it, screaming. Minho swung his pipe at another's knee joint where the armor was weak. The pirate fell. Yuna shot the third with the stunner, hitting him right in the face where there was no protection. It was over in seconds. The pirates lay on the ground, groaning. Hannah stared at her cubs. They were breathing hard, but standing strong. Not hiding, not crying, fighting. "Run," Jinwoo said. "More will come." They made it to the Morning Star and launched before more pirates arrived. As they flew away from the station, Hana sat in the cockpit with her 4 cubs around her. "That was stupid," she said. "You could have died." "So could you," Jinwoo replied. "You taught us to protect our family," Minho added. "We are not scared anymore," Yuna said. "Well, maybe a little scared," Sora admitted. "But we did not run." Hana looked at each of them. When had they grown so much? When had they become so brave? "I am proud of you," she said quietly. "All of you." News of the pirate attack spread. More importantly, news spread about 5 humans who fought back. Other species started to notice. At the next station, a Valen officer approached them. "You are the humans who fought the Kravik pirates," the officer said. Its voice came from a speaker in its suit. "We defended ourselves," Hana said carefully. "Most species would have run. Humans are supposed to be weak." "We are," Minho said. "That is why we do not give up. We cannot afford to." The Valens seemed to think about this. "Interesting," it said, and floated away. More incidents followed. A Thros engineer asked Jinwoo to help fix a reactor that everyone said was impossible to repair. Jinwoo fixed it in 3 hours. A coalition security team hired Yuna to help search a maze of maintenance tunnels that were too small for larger species. She found the smugglers they were looking for. A diplomatic mission asked Sora to translate during a difficult negotiation. She helped them avoid a war. Slowly, the galaxy was learning something. Humans did not have scales or claws or telepathy. They did not live for 300 years, or breathe methane, or see in 8 dimensions. But they had something else. They adapted. They endured. They refused to quit. And when you pushed them, when you threatened their family, they pushed back. 1 year later, Hana received messages from Coalition Fleet Command, Coalition Engineering Corps, Tactical Command, and the Diplomatic Service. They all wanted the same thing. They wanted to recruit her cubs. Hana sat at the galley table, looking at the messages. The 4 gathered around her. "They want you," she said. "All of you. Different divisions, different posts. Real careers, not hauling trash like me. What do you want us to do? Jinwoo asked. Thought Hannah looked at them. They were not children anymore. They were young adults with their own paths to walk. I want you to fly, she said. I want you to go out there and show them what humans can do. Make me proud. You already are proud, Sora said, smiling. Then make me more proud, Hannah said. 3 months later, she stood at 4 different docking bays, saying goodbye to each of them. There were tears. There were promises to stay in touch. There were fierce hugs, and then they were gone, scattered across the galaxy like stars. And Hannah was alone again, flying the morning star through the dark, carrying cargo nobody else wanted to carry. But she was not sad. She had kept her promise. She had kept them safe. She had raised them strong. Now it was time to see what they could become. 5 more years scattered across the galaxy like dust and wind. Hannah still flew the morning star, but the ship felt empty now. The cargo hold where her cubs once slept was just a cargo hold again. The galley where they ate together was silent. The cockpit where Minho used to sit beside her and call out threats was lonely. She received messages. Not as many as she wanted, but enough. Jinwoo sent pictures from Coalition Fleet Engineering Corps. He stood beside massive warships, helping design new systems. His last message said he had solved a problem with shield generators that had stumped engineers for years. The solution was simple, but nobody had thought of it before. Very human, his commander said. Minho worked for Coalition Tactical Command. He planned defense strategies for border stations. His messages were short and direct, like him. But between the words, Hannah could feel his pride. He was good at what he did. He saw patterns in enemy movements that computer systems missed. Yuna sent videos from special operations. Most were classified, but she sent what she could. In one video, she hung from a rope outside a space station, her suit camouflaged against the metal. She looked small against the vast darkness of space. But Hannah knew her daughter was fearless. SOR, traveled constantly for the diplomatic service. Her messages came from different systems every week. She helped negotiate trade deals, peace treaties, and alliances. Her language skills had grown even more. She now spoke 47 different alien languages. She sent pictures of herself meeting with alien dignitaries. In every picture, she smiled. Hannah was proud. But she was also sick. It started with tiredness. She thought it was just age. She was 53 now, not young anymore. But the tiredness got worse. Then came pain in her joints. Then her vision started to blur. She went to a doctor at Haven Station. The doctor was a violin, a cloud of gas that spoke through a translator. You have stellar degeneration syndrome, the doctor said. It is rare in humans, but not unknown. Your body is breaking down faster than it should. Can you fix it? Hannah asked. We can slow it, but you need regular treatment. You should stay near a medical facility. Hannah thought about the morning star, about flying through the dark. But she could barely climb the ladder to the cockpit anymore. Her hands shook when she tried to work the controls. How long do I have? She asked. With treatment, maybe 5 years. Without it, less than 1. Hannah sold the morning star. It hurt like cutting off a limb. That ship had been her home for 20 years. It was where she had found her cubs, where she had raised them. But she could not fly it anymore. She took an apartment on Haven Station. It was small and clean. She started her treatments. The medicine helped but made her feel sick and weak. She did not tell her cubs how bad it was. They had their own lives now. She did not want them to worry. She sent messages saying she had retired. She sent pictures of her apartment. She told them she was fine. She lied. The galaxy beyond her window kept turning. And while she lay in her small apartment, fighting her disease, the galaxy was preparing for war. The Dominion had been a rumor for years. An empire from beyond the known sectors, expanding toward coalition space. They were ruthless and powerful. They believed other species were inferior and should be conquered. The coalition tried diplomacy. They sent messages. They offered trade. They suggested boundaries. The Dominion responded by attacking a border colony and killing everyone there. War was coming. Hana watched the news feeds from her bed. The coalition was mobilizing. Ships, soldiers, and resources moved toward the border. She saw fleet carriers launching. She saw armies preparing. She wondered where her cubs were. Were they safe? Were they far from the fighting? Then she received the messages. 4 messages, one from each of her cubs. Jinwoo was assigned to a battle carrier near the front line. His engineering skills were needed to keep ships running during combat. Minho was sent to coordinate defensive operations for key stations. He would be in the middle of strategic planning, where battles were won or lost. Yuna joined a strike force meant to attack Dominion supply lines. Dangerous work, deep behind enemy lines. Sora was traveling to Dominion border regions, trying to find anyone who would negotiate, trying to prevent the war from spreading. All 4 of them were going toward danger. Hana tried to get out of bed. She wanted to go to them, to protect them like she had done when they were small. But she could barely stand. The disease had weakened her too much. She fell back onto the bed, gasping for air. A nurse came in, helped her, adjusted her medicine. Hana lay there feeling helpless and old. That night, she could not sleep. She thought about 4 scared children hiding behind her legs. She thought about their faces when they first saw the big aliens on the station. She thought about her promise. As long as you are with me, you are safe, always. But she was not with them now, and they were not safe. The war began with a massive Dominion assault. 3 coalition systems fell in the first week. Hundreds of thousands died. The news feeds show burning stations and destroyed ships. Hana watched, her hands gripping her blanket, unable to look away. Then the Dominion set their eyes on Haven Station. It was a major coalition hub, full of resources and refugees. If it fell, the whole sector would collapse. Hana saw the invasion fleet on the news. Hundreds of Dominion warships moving toward her station. The coalition fleet moved to intercept, but they were outnumbered. The station commander ordered evacuation. Ships started leaving, packed with civilians. Hana received a message telling her to report to Evacuation Bay 4. She looked at the message. Then she looked at herself. She could barely walk to the bathroom. How would she make it to an evacuation bay? And even if she did, there would be crowds and chaos. She would slow others down. She would take a seat that someone healthier could use. She deleted the message. If she was going to die, she would die here. In a bed, quietly, not causing trouble for anyone, the Dominion fleet arrived. The station shook as explosions hit the outer shields. The lights flickered. Hana could hear people screaming in the corridors outside her apartment. She lay in her bed and closed her eyes. She thought about the morning star. She thought about 4 children eating ration packs at her galley table. She thought about Jinwoo's smile when he fixed something impossible. About Minho's careful observations. About Yuna's fearless movements. About Sora's kind words. She had lived a good life. She had saved 4 children. She had given them a chance. That was enough. The station shook again, harder this time. Her window cracked. Alarms screamed. Hana waited for the end, but then her door exploded inward. Not from a bomb. Someone had blown the lock. 4 figures in combat armor rushed into her room. They pulled off their helmets. Jinwoo, Minho, Yuna, Sora. All 4 of them, covered in dust and blood, breathing hard, but alive. "Mom," Jinwoo said. He still called her that sometimes. "We are getting you out of here." "No, Hana whispered. You should not have come. You will die here. All of you. Minho knelt beside her bed. You told us we were safe with you. Remember? Now you are safe with us, Yuna added. Sora took her hand. We are not leaving you. Tears ran down Hana's face. You stupid, brave children. We learned from the best, Jinwoo said, and gently picked her up. Jinwoo carried Hana through corridors filled with smoke and screaming. The station shook with each explosion. Lights flickered and died. Emergency systems glowed red in the darkness. Where are we going? Hana asked weakly. Medical bay, Minho said, running ahead to check corners. It has the strongest shields and best defenses. If we can hold anywhere, we can hold there. Yuna moved like a shadow, her weapon ready. She stopped at an intersection, held up her hand. The others froze. She peered around the corner, then waved them forward. Clear. Sora stayed close to Jinwoo, one hand on Hana, the other holding a pistol. I sent distress signals to all coalition forces nearby. Help is coming. How long? Hana asked. 2 hours. Maybe 3. An explosion rocked the corridor behind them. They ran faster. The medical bay was chaos. Doctors and nurses tried to help wounded people. Coalition soldiers set up defensive positions. Civilians huddled in corners, crying and praying. Jinwoo set Hana down gently on a medical bed. A Valen doctor floated over. This human needs treatment, Jinwoo said. So do 200 others, the doctor replied. I will get to her when I can. No, Minho said. His voice was calm but hard. You will get to her now. Or we will leave and your defenses will fail in 10 minutes. The doctor looked at the 4 young humans. Who are you? Coalition Fleet Engineering, Tactical Command, Special Operations, and Diplomatic Service, Jinwoo said. We are also her children. Treat her. The doctor studied them. Then it floated to Hana and began checking her vital signs. She has stellar degeneration syndrome. Advanced stage. She needs to be evacuated. No evacuation ships left, a coalition soldier called out. We are on our own until reinforcements arrive. Then we hold, Minho said. He moved to the main defense console and started analyzing the station's schematics. The Dominion will hit the medical bay soon. It is full of wounded. Easy target. Can we defend it? A Kravik officer asked. Man Ho studied the screens. Maybe, if we are smart. Jinwoo joined him at the console. I can reroute power from non-essential systems. Boost the shield strength by 40%. Do it, Minho said. Yuna checked her weapons. How many soldiers do we have? 50, the Kravik officer said. Mixed species. Most are wounded. 50 is enough, Yuna said. If we use the terrain right. Sora moved among the civilians, speaking in different languages, calming them down. Hana watched her daughter bring peace to frightened aliens. She had taught Sora words. Sora had turned them into bridges. From her medical bed, Hana felt useless. Her body was failing her. She wanted to fight beside her cubs, but she could barely sit up. The station shook again. Harder this time. The shields around the medical bay flickered. They are coming, Minho said. Everyone to positions. The soldiers spread out. Jinwoo worked frantically at the engineering console. Yuna disappeared into the ventilation shafts. Sora helped move civilians to the safest corner. Hana lay on her bed and watched the main entrance. Her hand found a medical scanner on the table beside her. It was not a weapon, but it was something. The doors exploded inward. Dominion shock troops poured through. They were huge creatures, wearing heavy armor and carrying weapons that could melt through walls. They looked like nightmares made real. The coalition soldiers opened fire. Energy bolts filled the air. The Dominion troops advanced, their shields absorbing most of the damage. Jinwoo. I need those shields stronger, Minho shouted. Working on it, Jinwoo replied, his hands flying over the controls. A Dominion soldier broke through the defensive line. It raised its weapon toward the civilians. Sora stepped in front of them, her small pistol aimed at the massive creature. Get back, she said in the Dominion language, or I will fire. The soldier laughed. Then Yuna dropped from a vent above it and drove her knife into the weak point at its neck. The soldier fell. Nice timing, Sora said. You were stalling, Yuna replied. I know your tricks. The battle raged. More Dominion troops came. The coalition soldiers fell back, step by step. The defensive line was collapsing. Minho saw the pattern. They are trying to flank us from Corridor 7. Jinwoo, can you seal it? Not from here. Someone needs to manually override the door controls. I will go, Yuna said. Too far. You will not make it, Minho said. I will make it, Yuna replied, and ran before anyone could stop her. Hana watched her daughter disappear into the smoke. Fear gripped her heart. That was her baby girl, the one who used to hide behind her legs, now running toward danger. Minutes passed like hours. The Dominion pushed closer. The defenders were running out of ammunition. Then Corridor 7's blast doors slammed shut, cutting off the flanking force. Yuna's voice came over the communication system. Door sealed. Coming back. But the Dominion realized what happened. They sent troops after her. Yuna, you have hostiles behind you, Minho warned. I know. I am faster. But she was not faster than energy weapons. A bolt caught her in the leg. She went down. Jinwoo did not think. He just ran. He grabbed his plasma cutter and charged into the corridor. Minho followed, firing as he moved. Sora was right behind them. Hana tried to get up, tried to follow, tried to protect them. But her body would not move. She fell back on the bed, gasping. A nurse held her down. Stay still. You will hurt yourself. My children, Hana whispered. They are my children. Through the smoke, she heard weapons firing. She heard shouting. She heard Jinwoo yelling as he cut through a Dominion soldier's armor. She heard Minho calling out targets. She heard Sora translating something in the Dominion language, confusing them, making them hesitate just long enough. Then they appeared, carrying Yuna between them. She was hurt but alive. They brought her back to the medical bay and set her down beside Hana. I told you I would make it, Yuna said through gritted teeth. The Volon doctor rushed over and started treating her wound. You humans are insane. We know, Yuna replied. The battle continued. The Dominion kept coming. The defenders kept fighting. But they were losing. Too many enemies. Too few defenders. Too much damage. Minho looked at his tactical display. The situation was hopeless. Reinforcements were still 90 minutes away. They would not last 90 minutes. We need to fall back to the inner chamber, he said. Make a last stand there. There are too many wounded to move, a doctor protested. Then some of us stay here and buy time, Jinwoo said. The four looked at each other. They all knew what that meant. No, Hana said from her bed. Her voice was weak but clear. No, you run. You save yourselves. Not happening, Minho said. I am old and sick. But you have your whole lives ahead of you. Jinwoo knelt beside her bed. Mom, do you remember what you told us 20 years ago? Hana nodded, tears in her eyes. I promised you would be safe with me. And we promised we would be safe with you, Sora said. That works both ways. You are safe with us, Yuna added, holding her wounded leg. We keep our promises too. The Dominion troops breached the outer defenses. They were in the medical bay now, pushing toward the inner chamber where the wounded lay. Where Hana lay, the four cubs stood up. They formed a line in front of Hana's bed. Jinwoo with his plasma cutter. Minho with his rifle. Yuna limping but ready with her knife. Sora with her pistol. Behind them, Coalition soldiers joined the line. Kravik warriors with their scale armor. Thrust fighters with their sharp limbs. Valen energy beings in their suits. All of them standing together. The Dominion troops advanced down the corridor. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. And in her bed, Hana saw something that made her heart break and soar at the same time. Once, 4 scared children had hidden behind her legs. Terrified of the galaxy. Now they stood before her, weapons ready, backs straight. Facing impossible odds, not hiding, protecting. "I am so proud of you," Hana whispered. The Dominion charged, and the defense began. The Dominion shock troops crashed into the defensive line like a wave hitting rocks. Energy bolts filled the air. The sound was deafening. The smell of burning metal and flesh filled the medical bay. Jinwoo held the left side. His plasma cutter was not made for combat, but he used it anyway. When a Dominion soldier got too close, he cut through the armor joints where they were weak. Sparks flew. The soldier fell. Another took its place. Jinwoo kept fighting. Minho directed fire from the center. He saw patterns the others missed. Focus on the one with the red markings. He's their commander. 3 shots, center mass. Coalition soldiers followed his orders. The commander fell. The Dominion troops hesitated, confused. It gave the defenders precious seconds. Yuna moved despite her wounded leg. She could not run, but she could still fight. She used the medical equipment as cover, shooting from different positions. The Dominion could not pin her down. When one got close, she threw a medical tray at its face, then shot it while it was distracted. Every shot counted. She never missed. SOR, it was not a soldier. But she had her own weapon. "I am a coalition diplomat," she shouted in the Dominion language. "We can negotiate. We do not have to fight." Some Dominion troops paused, listening. It only lasted a moment, but a moment was enough for coalition soldiers to take better positions. Words bought time, and time bought lives. The battle was brutal. Defenders fell, but they made the Dominion pay for every meter of ground. Bodies piled up in the corridor. The air grew thick with smoke. From her bed, Hana watched her cubs fight. She was too weak to stand, but her mind still worked. She looked at the medical equipment around her. She looked at the station schematics on a nearby display. An idea formed. "Doctor," she called out to the Valen. "The medical bay has its own power generator, yes?" "Yes, but we need it to keep the shields and life support running. If we overload it, what happens?" The doctor understood immediately. It would create an electromagnetic pulse. It would disable everything in this section, including our own equipment, but also Dominion weapons and armor. "Yes, for about 30 seconds until their systems reboot." Hana looked at her cubs fighting at the barricade. 30 seconds could be enough. "Jinwoo," she called out. "Come here." He ducked behind cover and ran to her bed. His face was covered in ash and blood. "Are you okay? I need you to overload the medical generator. Create an EMP pulse." Jinwoo's eyes widened. "That will knock out our shields. The Dominion will pour in for 30 seconds. Then their systems reboot, and ours do too. But in those 30 seconds, they will be blind and defenseless. Your siblings can use that time." Jinwoo looked at the generator controls. He looked at his siblings fighting. He nodded. "It will work. But I need to stay here to time it right, and to reboot our systems fast after." "Then do it," Hana said. Jinwoo ran to the generator controls. Minho saw him and understood. He signed to Yuna and Sora. They prepared. "Now," Hana said. Jinwoo pulled the override. The generator screamed. Every screen went dark. The shields collapsed. The lights died. The Dominion troops cheered, thinking they had won. They charged forward into the darkness. Then the M hit. Every piece of electronics in the medical bay shut down. The Dominion soldiers' armor locked up. Their weapons went dead. Their night vision failed. They stumbled in the dark, confused and helpless. Minho counted in his head. 10 seconds. Move. Yuna dropped her useless gun and pulled out her knife. She moved through the darkness, using her hands to feel the way. She found Dominion soldiers trapped in their locked armor. Her knife found the weak points. 1, 2, 3. She moved to the next. SOR grabbed the medical instrument. Something heavy. She could not see, but she could hear. She swung at sounds, hitting armor joints, knees, anything vulnerable. Minho used his hands and a metal bar. He had memorized where each enemy was before the lights went out. He found them in the dark. The bar struck with precision. Even wounded coalition soldiers joined in. They crawled through the darkness, using their hands and teeth and anything they could grab. For 30 seconds, the darkness belonged to the defenders. Then the systems rebooted. Lights flickered back on. Jinwoo's work had paid off. Coalition shields came back online. Coalition weapons powered up. But half the Dominion troops were down. The others were confused and disorganized. Push them back, Minho ordered. The coalition forces attacked. The Dominion line broke. The enemy retreated into the corridor. Coalition soldiers sealed the blast doors behind them. Silence fell over the medical bay. Everyone was breathing hard. Some were crying. Others just stared in shock that they were still alive. Jinwoo ran back to Hannah's bed. It worked. Your plan worked. Hannah smiled weakly. You made it work. All of you. Yuna limped over, her leg bleeding worse now. Sora helped her sit down. Minho joined them, checking each of his siblings for injuries. Reinforcements in 30 minutes, a soldier called out. They had done it. They had had help long enough. The Valen doctor floated to Hannah. That was clever. Dangerous, but clever. Very human. Hannah laughed, then coughed. The doctor looked concerned. Her vitals are dropping. The stress was too much. She needs advanced treatment now. Then treat her, Jinwoo demanded. I need equipment we do not have here. She needs a full medical facility. Coalition reinforcements arrived 28 minutes later. Massive warships that drove the Dominion fleet away from Haven Station. Medical ships docked and took the wounded. Hannah was loaded onto a medical transport. Her 4 cubs stayed with her, refusing to leave. The ship's doctor was human, one of the few in Coalition service. Dr. Kim. Sora read from his name tag. Can you help her? Dr. Kim examined Hannah. He looked worried. Stellar degeneration syndrome, this advanced, is usually fatal. But there are experimental treatments. New techniques. Some developed by Coalition engineers. I helped develop some of those, Jinwoo said quietly. I was trying to find something that could help her. Dr. Kim looked at him. You are Jinwoo? From the engineering course? I read your papers. Your shield generator modifications save thousands of lives. I do not care about that. Can you save her? Dr. Kim nodded slowly. I can try, but it will take time. Months of treatment. We have time now, Minho said. The war is not over, but our duty can wait. No, Hannah said from her bed. Her voice was barely a whisper. You go back. The galaxy needs you. We need you more, Yuna said. Hannah looked at her 4 cubs. They stood around her bed, battered and bloody but unbroken. Once they had been scared children hiding behind her legs. Now they were warriors, engineers, diplomats, and heroes. Listen to me, Hannah said. All of you. I made you a promise 20 years ago. I promised you would be safe. I kept that promise. You did, Sora said, tears in her eyes. Now I need you to make me a promise. Promise me you will keep being brave. Keep being strong. Keep showing the galaxy what humans can do. Can you do that? Only if you promise to get better, Jinwoo said. Hana smiled. Fine, I promise to try. Dr. Kim's treatments worked. Slowly, over months, Hana grew stronger. The experimental procedures stopped the disease from spreading. She would never be as healthy as before, but she could walk. She could think clearly. She could live. The four cubs visited when they could. The war against the Dominion continued, but battles came in waves. Between the fighting, they came to her. One day, a year after the battle at Haven Station, all four arrived together. They had a surprise. Come with us, Jinwoo said. They led her to a docking bay. There, gleaming in the lights, was a new ship. Bigger than the Morning Star, but designed like her. The name on the hull read, New Dawn. What is this? Hana asked. Our new ship, Minho said. We requested joint assignment. The four of us working together. They said yes. But you had separate careers. You were doing so well. We were, Sora agreed. But we are better together. And we want you with us. I am old. I am sick. I will slow you down. Yuna took her hand. You never slowed us down. You lifted us up. They walked into the new dawn together. The ship was beautiful. It had quarters for all of them. A medical bay for Hana's treatments. A galley large enough for the family to eat together. In the cockpit, there were 6 chairs. 4 for the cubs and 1 for Hana, and 1 empty chair, waiting. For the family we will find, Jinwoo explained. There are more humans out there. More scared kids who need someone to believe in them. Hana sat in her chair and looked at her cubs. They stood around her, not as children anymore, but as adults. As equals, as family. I am proud of you, she said. So very proud. We learned from the best, Minho replied. The New Dawn launched from Haven Station. It had missions to fly, battles to fight, people to save. But it also had a family aboard. A family forged not by blood, but by choice. By promises kept through the darkest times. As they flew into the stars. Hana thought about that day 20 years ago when she found 4 scared children hiding behind cargo containers. She thought about all the times they hid behind her legs, terrified of the big scary galaxy. Now they stood before her, guarding her with pride. Not because they had to, because they wanted to. That was what family meant. That was what it meant to be human. Once, the cubs hid behind her legs. Now they stood before her, and the whole galaxy knew better than to threaten their pack. And together, they would show the stars what humans could become. When they protected each other with everything they had, the end was really just another beginning.